now on the CTV News at 5. With just days to go before the start of school, there is still no deal between the teachers and the province. Plus, traffic flow changes at Fleetwood Bodden Elementary School, and using artificial intelligence to create life-saving medication.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. We're glad you could join us. The countdown is on, with most students in Alberta heading back to school after the long weekend, but many parents are watching closely to see if that will actually happen, or if teachers will walk off the job or be locked out amid ongoing contract negotiations with the province. Both sides return to the bargaining table tomorrow, 1 week before most students in Alberta are supposed to start returning from summer break. But teachers can give notice to go on strike at any point, and their employer is voting on Friday whether to lock them out. In June, teachers across the province voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike at just shy of 95% support. They have 120 days since that vote to initiate job action, making the deadline for a possible strike October 7th. Their main sticking points are addressing increasingly large class sizes, more supports for students with complex needs, and wages that keep pace with inflation. The Premier acknowledges the need to deal with things like aggression in the classroom, but says the funding is adequate, so she'd like to take a closer look at how school boards are allocating funds. However, the president of the Alberta Teachers Association says the education system is chronically underfunded and ranks the lowest among all provinces for spending per student.
The Premier used the word classroom conditions. Well, teachers' working conditions are our students' learning conditions. So class sizes, having the resources available to teachers to meet their students' needs. That's something that has been sorely lacking and underfunded over the last several years.
Regarding the stalled contract negotiations, the Lethbridge School Division tells CTV the district is preparing for operations as normal as the 2025-2026 school year approaches. The division will provide updates as more information becomes available. We have yet to hear from the Holy Spirit Division. And with students back to class next week, traffic flow around an elementary school in Lethbridge has been changed. 12th Street South, which borders the maintenance entrance to Fleetwood Bodden School, has been made into a one-way street that will only flow north. The portion of 11th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue will flow south. The city says the alteration will improve safety for all traveling in the area and was direct feedback from residents in the area. New changes are also part of the city's transportation plan to ensure there are zero serious injury and fatal collisions in the city.
We try to make sure that the things which we do in the city have larger public acceptance in the interest of larger public good. Obviously, some people will be impacted. Probably they would think they are negatively impacted, but we always look at the larger good. And the larger good is, as I said, Vision Zero. We want to really create a society or an area where everybody feels safe to walk, to cycle, to drive.
The new changes go into effect on Wednesday. A researcher at Lethbridge Polytechnic is taking his love of plants to a new level as he analyzes plant stresses and ways to influence how they feel in different environments. Sahid Ashami says knowing how plants interact with different environments is helpful for producers in managing growth cycles, including planting times, watering, and fertilizer schedules, as well as crop rotations. He's now completing research on light optimization for greenhouses and comparing industrial leads, horticultural LEDs, and high-pressure sodium lights inside the 10,000 square foot greenhouse at the Polytechnic. The project will measure lighting on cucumbers, tomatoes, and bell peppers.
By adjusting and optimizing the climate condition in a way that plants can perform better and the fruit quality goes up, we will achieve our goals. We are trying to understand what is the best climate condition that plants are feeling good and producing high quality fruits.
He hopes to have the research completed by late next year and to share his findings with producers across the region. All right, Danielle Savoni, it's only the end of August, but summer is finally here.
Yeah, here we go. And there's a lot of heat, as I'm sure you notice at this point, and a lot of stability. So we talked about all the weekend and much of this week just being kind of that stable, sunny, bright, hot week. This is what we're in for right now. So nothing to talk about on the radar. This here is just something called ground clutter. So it's just an issue with the radar. So nothing going on. It's quiet. It will be quiet for this entire work week. But what we do have to talk about, of course, is the special statement that's in place, and this is for heat. So to the north, Claresholm, Vulcan, Lomond, Brooks, over to Empress, up through Calgary, and then up through much of central Alberta as well. These areas under the statement. Now, it's because we don't quite qualify for the heat warning at this point because our overnight lows will not be in the teens. They'll be a little lower. So there'll be some relief in those overnight hours, but it's still hot, and it will be hot for this entire work week. 31 degrees right now is the temperature in Lethbridge. A lot of sunshine, as we talked about, and overall many 30s. Drumheller right through Brooks and Medicine Hat and down to Milk River as well. Your long-range forecast is coming up, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. A heartbreaking conclusion to a missing persons case. Brooks RCMP say human remains discovered last week in an alley near South Shore Drive have been identified as 20-year-old Fatima Ahmed, who was reported missing August the 15th. Autopsy reports have been completed by the medical examiner's office in Calgary. The cause of death is pending. RCMP are continuing to investigate. Anyone who may have information about Ahmed's death or whereabouts is urged to contact Brooks RCMP or Crime Stoppers anonymously. And Lethbridge police are trying to track down a 25-year-old woman wanted on outstanding arrest warrants. Kira Davonray is wanted for warrants failing to comply with a release order stemming from drug trafficking charges. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call Lethbridge police or submit a tip anonymously through Crime Stoppers. The Parole Board of Canada says convicted sex offender Randall Hopley remains an undue risk to society. Hopley was released from prison in May but left a halfway house the same day he arrived. He had been sent to the community facility to serve the remainder of an 18-month sentence for failing to attend court and breaching a long-term supervision order. The board says Hopley has a pattern of ignoring court-imposed conditions, including a ban on contact with children and accessing pornography. Hopley was placed on that long-term supervision after serving his sentence for abducting a 3-year-old boy in Sparwood, BC in 2011. The boy was returned physically unharmed. Hopley's release has been revoked, but he will be eligible again next month. A child advocacy centre in Lethbridge is among 10 organizations receiving funding from the province. The Chinook Child and Youth Advocacy Centre has received $60,000 to help address a rise in children and youth experiencing abuse. The centre offers leadership, advocacy, and comprehensive services specific to victims of sexual violence within southwestern Alberta. Along with Lethbridge, centres in Fort McMurray, Red Deer, and Medicine Hat have received additional funding towards their operations. And the province is looking to test new ways of treating wastewater in the town of Cardston. The municipality has received $5 million for a new wastewater system that uses helpful bacteria to eat sewage. The province says if the project is successful, it would make wastewater treatment more affordable and environmentally friendly. Cardston and Peace River were both selected for the pilot project. The City of Lethbridge's sidewalk renewal project is underway downtown. Crews have begun work on the sidewalk on the east side of 8th Street South between 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue. Pedestrians, businesses, and customers will still be able to get where they need to go, but some detours are in place. The city says the concrete work will be completed within 2 or 3 weeks. The province has created a panel to determine the future of nuclear power in Alberta. Now, the panel will engage with industry, municipalities, and others to create a report to the government. There will also be an online survey for all Albertans that would be open until September 25th. An Alberta nuclear industry would be used to produce power as well as radioisotopes to use in medicine. The panel is made up of Indigenous business interests, experts in the business of nuclear power, and an American market research firm. A new collaborative art project is hoping to breathe new life into the southwest corner of Galt Gardens. The idea came from Community Lab, a partnership between the City of Lethbridge and the University of Lethbridge to connect students with real city challenges to enhance community life. In 2020, the students began to plan how to make Galt Gardens more colorful, safe, and welcoming. Well, since then, renovations have taken place to improve lighting, sight lines, and more accessible pathways. The project also included Indigenous art pieces by Blackfoot artist Margie Cropbeard-Wolf.
My hope is that the public won't just see this piece as public art, but come to appreciate the Blackfoot language and the Blackfoot artwork and my community and our territory.
The open sight lines and the improved lighting really makes it feel welcoming for people. The stone seating we've seen utilized a lot from Foodie Fest. When the food trucks line up, people really feel that they can come in and use the space, and it's very inclusive and welcoming to everyone.
The renovations also include 2 new entrances to the pergola. And money raised at a live auction at the Alberta Beef Industry Conference is going towards a local cause. The Alberta Cattle Feeders Association has donated more than $232,000 to the Chinook Regional Hospital Foundation's Bringing Hearts Home campaign. The funds will be used to help bring advanced cardiac care to Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. The money was raised during the association's Taste of Alberta event, one of the largest beef conventions in the country. When we come back, Danielle Savoni has a hot forecast for us on the way. Also, we have the latest breakthrough in medication research using artificial intelligence.
Here's your Skywatch weather camera, and many of you, I'm sure, have been waiting all summer for a week like this. Yes, there's a lot of heat. Hopefully you can handle the heat because we're nowhere near done with it. This entire week will be packed with it, as I'm sure you know by this point. Okay, 27 degrees was the high in Calgary, 28 at Edmonton, far south of the province. Much hotter than that, into the 30s, as you can see right here. So current temperatures just above 30 in Drumheller, Brooks, Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, and 30 right now in Milk River. All right, so a quick thing on, right now we have the special weather statement in place. Claresholm up through Vulcan, Lomans included in this, Brooks over to Empress. And we don't have a heat warning in place because we're just off the mark for a heat warning to be issued. But overall, it's going to be extremely hot in all communities in southern Alberta as we head through this week. Let me give you an indication of what is required for the heat warning. So for anything north of Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, you have to have 2 consecutive days of a high of at least 29 and a low of at least 14. And for the far south, so Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat, Pincher Creek and south, you have to have a high of at least 32 and a low of at least 16. So while our highs are going to be very close to this mark, close enough to issue a heat warning, the overnight lows are going to be closer to those single digits or just barely into the double digits. So we're going to get some relief at night. And that's a big part of it being issued as a heat warning. So there's no heat warning in place, but it's still going to be excessively hot during the daytime for the rest of this work week. So that's the key thing to know. So if you are sensitive to the heat, of course, don't spend a ton of time outside in those major hours in the afternoon. Here's this ridge of high pressure. That's what's building in. It will continue to build in. So that's why we'll be in the 30s really for most of the work week. Also, ridge of high pressure, keeping things stable and bright and not a whole lot of activity going on, which is some good news for us as well. Just to play through the futurecast, you can see that there's nothing really going on in the far south. There may be a little bit of cloud cover creep in later in the day tomorrow, but the mountains are going to hold off any sort of moisture into the mountains and off on the BC side. And then this is pretty much done. It's so stable that nothing can really materialize. Okay, so let's talk about the forecast here. East Kootenay area 14 tonight. Tomorrow with the humidity, it will feel like 34. And a whole lot of sunshine. Sunshine for Christmas past tomorrow and a high of 30. But as you can see, these overnight lows, that's why we're not meeting that heat warning criteria. But it's certainly hot during the day. 11 overnight tonight in Medicine Hat, then getting up to 33 tomorrow with a whole lot of sunshine. And again in Lethbridge, we may see a couple clouds later in the day, but overall mainly sunny. 32 is our high and still into the 30s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Researchers at BC's Simon Fraser University are using an $80 million state-of-the-art supercomputer to power AI software aimed at creating life-saving medication. The CTV's Kevin Cherich reports. The professor in charge calls it the most exciting research he's been a part of in decades.
You start with a certain molecule fragment.
Professor Martin Nestor says new research out of Simon Fraser University is using AI to help speed up the development of new and potentially life-saving medication.
I've done research in AI for 20 plus years, and this is the most significant application of our AI or machine learning research that we have accomplished so far.
His PhD student, 25-year-old Tony Shen, created the software program. He says finding the right drug molecules to combat disease is like sifting through millions of grains of sand to find a few golden nuggets. But his program, he says, can speed up and simplify the process.
And this is where generative AI could really come in, where generative AI could design directly the molecule that could inhibit protein and cure the disease potentially.
The project is powered by SFU's most cutting-edge innovation, an $80 million supercomputer launched this summer.
So this is FIR. It's our brand new academic supercomputer. It is the largest supercomputer in Canada.
For Shen, the work takes on a very personal meaning.
I lost my grandparents to cancer, and I essentially heard from doctor that there is just no available treatment for their disease because it was too late stage.
He says his program has already drawn interest from drug companies, and they're now collaborating with the Vancouver Prostate Center to develop and test the medication.
Going to significantly speed up the process of drug discovery, and it may save lots of lives.
Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Burnaby.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. New camera technology is making those first down chains a thing of the past in football. We've got that story next. Brooks Bandits have announced new changes to its hockey operations staff after former head coach and general manager Ryan Papiano announced that he was joining the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. The team has announced that head scout Wayne Labrie has been promoted to director of hockey operations. Labrie has been with the team since 2017. Dakota Mason has been named the 8th head coach in team history, previously serving as assistant coach and goaltending coach. Kevin Sajanovic has been promoted to assistant coach. The Bandits will host their training camp starting Saturday. Brooke Henderson has added another Canadian Open title to her trophy case.
The comeback is complete for the pride of Canada.
The Ontario native birdied the 13th and 14th to pull ahead of Australia's Minjee Lee. Henderson ended up shooting a 4-under 67 to win the CPKC Women's Open by 1 stroke. This was the second time Henderson has won Canada's National Women's Golf Championship. The win was also her 14th LPGA title and her first victory in more than 2 years. Henderson wins the CPK Women's Open once again. Now to a look at the NFL Unchained. New camera technology is making those first down chains a thing of the past. Sony's Hawkeye system is taking their place with the regular season just over a week away. Will Reeve has more.
We're going to have a measurement, and they don't get it. Philadelphia Eagles defense wins the battle.
When the 2025 NFL season kicks off in less than 2 weeks, a revolutionary technology will be making its regular season debut.
Can he put a card in between it?
They stretch it out. No. Oh, it's an inch and a half short.
Out goes the chain gang, the sideline officials who rush onto the field with a 10-yard chain used to determine whether a team gained a first down. And in comes Hawkeye, the virtual measurement system from Sony.
Give us a brief overview of what this technology is and does.
So virtual measurement is 6 8K cameras in every NFL stadium that measure where the static ball is on the field. So once a ball has been placed by the official on the field, we can determine whether that ball has or hasn't passed the line to gain.
This technology was tested in the background of all games last year, so preseason through all the whole season and the postseason.
GMA getting an all-access look at the tech, including a rare glimpse inside the instant replay booth to see how Hawkeye will be applied in real time.
We work very closely with the NFL to design this. Everything's obviously controlled through here and touchscreens.
Here's how it works. Once the ref spots the ball after a close play, the operator zooms in on that ball to confirm its location. The Sony Hawkeye then cuts back to the ball's position before the play began and recreates a virtual measurement for viewers.
And this will come down to the spot as well.
And the NFL is getting used to it. The tech tested out during week 2 of the preseason.
Well, here it is, everybody. Here it is. Looks like it's going to be short. Oh, of course.
Is there a deliberate effort from the NFL to make games go by faster?
I think there's always an effort to have less interruption to the game and to the action.
Do you expect there to be any pushback from fans who like things just the way they were?
There's going to be traditionalists here that maybe miss the reveal of the chains or the nuances of seeing people come onto the field. But I think our goal is always to make this as efficient, objective, and accurate as possible to aid those officials on the field, not, take away anything from their job.
Coming up, the story of a 10-year-old who is making agriculture history. A 10-year-old farmer is making history with a full-ride agriculture scholarship. Caitlin Ross has more.
The path to success isn't always paved.
I'm picking some cherry tomatoes.
For Kendall Ray Johnson, it's planted, watered, and grown.
Tomatoes over here, watermelons over there.
In South Fulton, this 10-year-old farmer is proving success can take root anywhere.
You can only get it when it's orange.
In this backyard, the fruits of her labor aren't just measured in crops, but confidence.
Yeah, this one's good.
Growth can look like patience, care.
He just wants to stay cool.
And watching dreams take root.
Farm animals, I love them, they love me.
She's the youngest certified farmer in the country.
We have our first brown egg.
And now she's celebrating something even bigger.
What is this? This is bigger than any egg that we ever had.
Every new sprout, every fresh discovery.
This has to be a double yolk.
Shaping not just her farm, but her future.
She just wanted to grow. And once she found her love of just wanting to grow, I think that blossomed into what you see today.
These are sugar baby watermelons.
Her mom, Ursula, says Kendall is leading their family farm.
They're not quite ready yet.
And leading by example.
We're just following the 10-year-old and her dream.
And where Kendall's headed, she's planting a whole new vision for what success can grow into.
I'm not like the first 10-year-old to get a full ride scholarship.
I literally was like, we do that? That could be done?
South Carolina State University awarded Kendall Ray a full ride scholarship.
These are super sweet 100s.
Not for sports, but for agriculture.
As the president, I can do that for an athlete. I should be able to do that for an ag scholar.
In Georgia, where agriculture is the state's top industry, Kendall Ray's story is planting seeds of change.
What do I want for my future? Well, I want 100 acres of land.
Her dreams growing as fast as her farm.
You also check if it's hollow.
And inspiring others to grow alongside her.
Keep growing, keep being amazing. You do you.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.